Let me... The moment I start streaming, that's when the noise happens. It's going to be a long one today. Okay, I'm back. Sorry it took a little longer than I expected. I made some eggs. Because I haven't eaten today. Yeah, man. So, where to begin? Ugh. So that client today, man, it was a big job. Big job. Big job. They said it was going to take 2 to 3 hours, but it was going to take at least 4 to 5 because of all the stuff that they had. A bunch of IKEA assembly crap. Oh, well, I mean, that depends. I always like to get pictures, and I like to be very thorough, especially if it's something like that. Like, I don't do sinks or anything, but, like, installing cabinetry and stuff like that, I'm always very specific about their needs. Because, you know, you get there, and then they need something extra. So, like, to you and me, it's like, oh, just install a sink, no problem. But you get there, and it's like they also need the granite cut to size and this, that, and the other. Good. You need one of the new one and of the old one to make sure the dimensions are proper, and oftentimes they're not, and they want you to do all this extra work. Which, if you can do it, then that's good for you, man. But a lot of times, like, going somewhere, and, like, if you do a sink, and the width is smaller, like, it might be deeper, bigger, but it's narrower than the one from before, then you have issues with the countertop. It's like, well, there's just a lot of issues that arise, and I just try to be thorough with clients. It's not really warm anymore. It's like almost room temperature. I was trying to do other stuff while getting this set up. But have you seen the Handyman channel? He's in Vegas. No. Like, is that the name of his channel? The Handyman channel? Now I'm interested. This noise, this annoying sound from the computer, it's only going to be for a couple minutes. I want to look this guy up. Let's see what this guy is all about. I'm down to look at new channels and stuff. One of the big handyman / home improvement things, he's a builder. This guy Matt Reisinger. I used to watch his videos all the time, but once I've caught up to his current catalog, I only watch videos if it interests me. mean, isn't that what we all do? No, I like Matt Reisinger's videos, like from the business perspective, from the technology perspective of the different stuff that he works with in a lot of his jobs. Because he's a builder, he builds homes and shit. All right. The Handyman channel. Is it just called The Handyman? Oh yeah, this guy he's he's got a lot of what is it? He has a lot of tools, he's got vehicles, like he's got the full setup to be able to do all this stuff. Yeah, that's good, man. Homeowner grade versus contractor grade tools. Never paint your cabinets. Why not? Hold on. What is...
Well, they do about the same. This one here, you need a large air compressor with a large volume, which I happen to have. I didn't always have that. That's why I always use
this the guy?
Because this, you just need an extension cord. Both of these will spray lacquer. I sprayed.
Why is he saying don't paint your cabinets, though?
This is the... I did put a little marking on the bottom to...
Yeah, I'm skimming through this video. A lot of it is just fast footage of... it's footage fast... sped up of him doing whatever he's doing. Not saying that's a bad thing or anything.
On and have just the right overlap so that sheens up and wets out and there's no...
This is... I don't know. I'll have to sit down and watch some of his stuff in the future. Anyway, yeah, I'll take a look at him in the future. Let me... Oh, PewDiePie released his meme review rewind. It's better than YouTube's, just like last year. The original Cloud City Escape. Whoa. This is that rabbit hole, man. Let's get sucked down that rabbit hole, dude. Right, let me close this down. No. Why is it always wanting me to do these? Mindless updates. Let's put the computer to sleep. Let's not mess with it. Let's get back at business. How was Christmas? Christmas was mellow, which was nice. What about y'all? Y'all do anything interesting? Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think. There was something I was talking about in the car, but then ever since that cop, I'm like trying to remember what the fuck was I talking. This was before AB5, the licensing thing. Someone asked me if I was planning on getting a business license. I didn't. That's the thing. It was just a big furniture assembly. Yesterday was assembly session mounting IKEA cabinetry. Yesterday, but today it was just a slew of stuff. A lot of home office things. But I didn't end up doing it because I. So I went to Home Depot. I picked up that step ladder, and I told the guy, "Hey, I'm on my way." Well, there's a slew of them. Let me finish off this first. So I went to Home Depot, got the ladder, told the customer, "Hey, I'm on my way." They wrote back, "Thumbs up. Cool. See you soon." I drive, get all the way there to the address. I'm at the gate. And I say, "Hey, I'm at the gate." No response. I just need the code or whatever to get in there. Ghosted me. And it's weird. It's every Sunday. Every task that I've had on a Sunday for the last month, it's the same thing. We'll be talking right as I'm on my way to the job, but I get to the location, nothing. And I get there, and it's like, dude, really, man? Like, I drove all the way out here. And so I'm going to get a cancellation fee for that, which is cool, but like, what the fuck, man? It's just, it would have been nice to do the job because I probably would have been there about 4 or 5 hours. About $150 job. And I mean, if it was an IKEA assembly job, ooh, man, I would probably made about $300 on that, just because of how those are paid out with the flat rate. Yeah, sometimes it's IKEA you make a lot of money on the flat rate. Sometimes not so much because the time estimate isn't appropriate. But interesting jobs stories. Some clients, man. Yeah, I got one. So there was a time with TaskRabbit where I was very picky. This was back when my take home was $27 an hour. And I would go on same day and I'd get a lot of requests. I'd get probably about 4 or 5 requests, but I would only accept like half of them because I was very picky about the jobs I would do, picky about how far away I would go, this, that, and the other. And there was one job where I had several jobs in front of me, and one was requested at 6, and I had another job on the other end of town that's slotted for 7. And I told the client, like, "Hey, you're at this point in town. I'm at this point, and I have a job at 7:30 on the exact opposite end of town." So, and he said, "Oh, it's just a floating shelf. It's an IKEA floating shelf. That's all that it is. I just need that up." And I'm thinking, okay, a floating shelf from IKEA, that's not going to take long at all. I could knock that out pretty quick. So I told him, "All right, if that's all that it is, I can make time, but I have to head over now." And he's like, "Well, I'm on my way back from IKEA, but we should get there at the same time." And I'm thinking, cool, sweet, no problem. So I, oh God, this story, man. Get on the freeway, I'm sitting in traffic. It takes like 45 minutes to get there because of traffic, because of the time. By the time I get there, it's like 5:30, and it's like, all right, the guy should be here soon. And it took him 30 minutes to get there. So he was actually closer to IKEA than I was. See, I go all over, and that's because it's opportunity. Um, so if I were to keep my scheduling just for Spring Valley, I'm limiting myself to just Spring Valley. Uh, but if I widen it open, there are jobs where I'll go all the way to Anthem or Henderson, and I'm there for 4 or 5 hours. Would I rather stay in Spring Valley and do a 1 hour job or go all the way to Henderson and do a 5 hour job? I'd rather do that. So I like to keep myself open like that. It hurts my metrics because, yeah, I do decline some jobs, but it's just the nature of the beast. Um, one of the other things that I do is I have. So on this job, I'm waiting for this guy to show up. And I text him because he's able to give me the code. I get into the property. I sit in the parking garage. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm in traffic. Which is funny because when he said he was on his way home from IKEA, I live right by IKEA. I was further away from IKEA and further away from his house than he was. So it baffled me that I got there before him. Hello. So I'm sitting there waiting for this guy. Wait 30 minutes. He finally shows up. I have to get in the elevator to meet him on whatever level he's on to help him get this. He's like, oh, I need you to help me get this out of the car. And I'm like, it's a shelf, whatever. It's not a shelf, this lion's sack of shit. He got a Besta unit, a TV bench, and he wanted that hung up and floating. And like, I was like in a state of disbelief. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I told him, this isn't a shelf. And he's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, you're going to hang it up like a shelf. And I'm like, no, this is a TV bench. This is essentially a cabinet. And he's like, no, because it's not going to be on the floor, man. It's not going to be on the floor. It's going to be mounted. So it's a shelf. And I'm like, and I explained to him, it's like, look, you told me that this was a shelf. This is not a shelf. If you even look on the box, it says TV bench. This is a TV bench. You can mount it up like that, but that doesn't magically turn it into just a shelf. You told me it was just a shelf, right? A floating shelf. It's like, yeah, because that's what it is. And I'm like, it's a TV bench. It's an entertainment stand, basically. And I get up to this guy's apartment, right? And like, he lived in a very, very nice place. We're talking, he had a 30-foot ceiling in his living room, like, because it was like 2 stories with this open loft, and it just gorgeous apartment, condo, whatever the hell it was. Just magical view of the strip from so far away. Like, we're talking, this place was easily like $5 or $6 grand a month. There are some places in Vegas where the rent is crazy high. This was one of those places. So you go in this, you walk into this place, and I don't like to like be stereotypical or anything, but sometimes you just like, hey man, it's like a cultural thing. And this guy was all about fat stacks of cash and money, and you know, he was an up and coming rapper or whatever. He's like, oh, I got a bunch of stuff on SoundCloud, and like while I'm working, he's playing this just shitty rap, and it's like, I might be biased because I'm not super into rap, but I can appreciate good rap over bad rap, okay? You give me a Future, blah. You give me a Wiz Khalifa, all right. You know, it's like, I can tell the difference between good fucking and bad lyrics, writing, you know, rhythmic tones, you know, beats and stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of Kanye at all. The dude's batshit fucking crazy, but I will admit the fact that, yes, this individual does make good music. You know, like, and he's playing his rap music, and it's that he made with his crew or whatever, and it's so fucking bad, dude. This is the same story. So I'm there, and I tell him, here's what's going to happen. I told you I had another job. You said that you would be here before me. You were late. So I'm already going to be late to my next job, whether I do this or not. So I'll just put this together for you, and I'll mount it. But just so you know, this literally made me lose my other job. uh, because you were late. Plus the fact that it's a cabinet. I have to build this whole thing. I have to mount it. Then I have to put all the accessories in it. This is gonna take a lot longer. It ended up taking me about 2 hours. Given everything was said and done, and I did it. I put it up there, and he ended up falling asleep in the middle of me building it, and I was so like whatever about it at this point. Like I usually take pride in my work. This time, no, I didn't. I put up the shittiest anchors I had. I just didn't give a fuck. Like I was just fuck this job, fuck this guy, right? And that's something I never do when I work. I try to give my all. But this dude, I was like, I don't give a fuck if this thing comes crashing fucking down. Fuck this dude. If he doesn't respect me, doesn't respect my time, if he wants to try to bullshit me, because he kept saying, like, oh, it's only going to take 20 minutes. I'm like, no, it's not going to take just 20 fucking minutes. Okay, there's a lot more I have to do with this than you think. So I put the whole fucking damn thing together, and this fucking asshole, man. This fucking guy, I tell him, hey, everything's done, and I'm trying to invoice him, because I already got a sketched out feeling from him. The problem is that none of the fucking, my reception was shit. In that, the whole time I was there, the reception was crap. And I was able to get pictures of the completed project uploaded. But the funny thing is that for whatever reason, when I went in the app to take the pictures and upload them, they uploaded to the other client that I had to cancel on because I was working on that job. So it was just really bizarre how the whole thing played out. And I had to tell them, oh, sorry, these pictures aren't for you. So I tried to re-upload the pictures to the proper client, and it was like a good 5 minutes or so. I'm sitting there, and he's like basically telling me like, oh, it's all good. You don't need to be here no more. I'm like, I need to finish this out. And it's like, I have no reception at all. I tried turning my phone off, turning it back on, nothing. And I was like, I'll take care of all this once I get outside to the once I get out to the parking lot, because I don't have any reception in here. So, all right, man, cool. And he was messing with his phone, right? And I don't have, and this is as I'm walking out the door, and he's like, for sure, man. And then I get out the door, and this apartment complex or whatever, there's multiple layers of security. So you walk in to the property, there's a gate code. Then there's a key fob you need to get into the elevator room. And then you need another key fob to activate the elevator, and it only takes you to the floor on that key fob. No, I did. No, the task was already confirmed. No, we confirmed the task before I even got there. It was confirmed. The problem was invoicing. Yeah, right. No, but this is like I'm saying, I couldn't even go back up and talk to him because by the time I got reception, I got outside, right? And that's when I got back to the truck. That's when my reception came in and it said, "Oh, your task was canceled." And at first, I thought when it was another client, I didn't think it was him. So I'm going in to try to go invoice, and that task was missing. That's when I realized, like, oh fuck, it was this guy, because there was another task I had that I forfeited. When you forfeit, the client can then cancel after you forfeited, which is bizarre. I don't know why that's even an option, but sometimes it happens where I'll forfeit a job and then an hour later it'll say the client canceled even though I forfeited. Weird. So anyway, I went in and this motherfucker had canceled the job on me. Support at this time of night, support was they were gone. So I had to wait until the next morning. Fortunately enough, this is like probably the only nice thing I can say about TaskRabbit. This was back when their phone service was actually working. I was so pissed. And Foibles, if you're watching, Foibles made my night. He basically, he super chatted $20, which essentially after YouTube takes a cut, it helped compensate me for my gas there and back. So thank you, Foibles, for that. It helped me that night. But I had a live stream. I was so fucking pissed. Because that was during a time where we were still like barely month to month, like every job fucking counted. So going out and doing that job, and it was like for $70 when it was all said and done, And the fact that this dude canceled on me after I did all this work, I'm like, fuck this guy, man. So I got a hold of support. I told them about the fraud thing. The lady literally reopened the task with that client because I had proof that I did the job and everything. Because I told her about the issue with the photos going to the wrong client, and they were actually for this client. And she's like, oh, yeah, we got it totally. She reopened the task. I was able to bill the guy right, and she's like, we're going to reopen it. As soon as I reopen it, you have to confirm it and immediately invoice, because if he gets the update, he can still go and cancel. But it's a fraud scenario. So I went in, did it all right then and there, and we were good to go. I did my invoice for 2.5 hours. And then what ended up happening is his credit card was denied, and they kept reaching out to him, and he was just trying to get free labor for this. And it's not the only time that's happened to me. It's a thing. Multiple clients have done that, where I'll go do work for them and they'll just never pay. But that's why I do like working with TaskRabbit on this platform, because if these things happen, TaskRabbit will compensate me for that time. I'm just so, it's just maddening, man. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are, man? Like, I'm out here providing a service, and you're just gonna try to take advantage like that. It's like I don't talk enough about the good clients, because for me, a good client is someone that I go in there, I do my job, they fucking pay. I still ended up getting paid, but it took a long time. It took probably about 2 weeks before TaskRabbit finally was like, okay, we'll pay you out. So, usually it's about a week after I do a job, I get the money. But it was an extra week, so it hurt a little bit not having access to that. But because I could have gone and done another job that night. But this is that's kind of what cemented in the fact it's like, it's okay to be picky. I was picky for a long time. I wasn't making a tremendous amount of money from it because I was being picky. But it just got to the point where it's like, I can't keep doing this, where I'm going to these jobs and it's just not worth it to me. So I told myself, hey, fuck it, man. If I'm going to be picky, fuck it. I'm just going to be picky. I'm going to go to the jobs that, like, I feel like me and the client are a good fit, and this is a service I can provide them. And the thing is, it wasn't a shelf, man. It's like, that's the thing. So I've thought about this. It's like, I don't harp on clients for shelves and shit. Oh, there's another one. There was a client that I had that was extremely unrealistic. She said that she had 2 floating shelves, which she did have 2 floating shelves, right? It was a TV stand. She did have 2 shelves, but she had more than floating shelves. She had, I think it was 2, 4, 6, 8. She had 11 floating shelves. 3 of them were smaller that were supposed to go in a closet. And then the others were huge. Like they were like the longest ones that IKEA makes. And basically when I got there, the first 45 minutes was her going over how she wanted them laid out. And it was so bizarre because she kept going to her daughter. Like, this is her house, but for some reason, it wasn't her daughter's opinion. She wanted her daughter to be the final say-so. How do you want these set up? It's like, and the daughter was like, well, I want it like this. And the mom's like, well, I don't really think that's going to work. And she's like, well, I don't care. That's how I want it. Which is so bizarre. I'll never fucking understand people of crazy wealth. This was one of those houses that it's like 11 bedrooms. Like, it was a massive house. Deep gated community. And I get there, and this bitch, man, like, first 45 minutes is such a waste of time to me. I'm doing calculations, I'm trying to do measurements, and I'm getting ready to like do everything, and then it's like, look, and then she shows me the shelves, and I'm like, holy shit, we're gonna need 2 people for these. And she's like, why? And it's like, can one person do this? Technically, yeah, but I, it's not like safe because of how big these are. So I can do all the measurements and stuff for you, but I'm not going to be able to put these up. These are way bigger than you let on. And so she was like, "Oh, you're gonna need another person." It's like, yeah, we're gonna like for jobs like this, I always have 2 people. Um, if you have smaller shelves, I can do them while I'm here today. Um, and so I went up and into the closet of her daughter and put her daughter's shelves in her closet. Basically, I was there for 2 hours, and I was like, "All right, yeah, so we'll we'll keep this going on." And I felt guilty when I left because I could have billed her for the 2 hours I was there, but I knew I wasn't going to be coming back. And she had wanted them to be done that day, and I told her it's not going to happen. We need another person, but she didn't want to hire another person. She wanted me to just randomly bring some other person. I'm like, that's not how it works. And so instead of going back and forth with her, when I was on the way home, I just canceled the job. So for 2 hours I worked there, I didn't even get paid. And in retrospect, I would have charged her and thumbed her down and never have come back. But, I didn't want her to leave an angry review, this, that, and the other. So I just canceled it. But because I canceled it, I wasn't able to leave a review. So I couldn't. She still had access to my account. So if she wanted, she could hire me again. And then she proceeded to decimate my metrics. She hired me about 15 fucking times. She hired me again and again and again and again and again. And I was like, it was the same job, but she hired me continuously for like a week to fill out my schedule because she was trying to get a hold of me. And I was like, I can't help you. It's just, I kept telling her, and she wouldn't cancel any of the jobs, so I had to cancel them. That forfeit them, so my metrics, like, they fucking tank, dude. And that's one thing about TaskRabbit I fucking hate, is the whole metrics thing. It's like, legally, for independent contractors, we should not be punished for forfeiting jobs. That's the whole point of being an independent contractor. That Uber and Lyft, Uber especially has been sued because one of the way they aggregate whether or not people get rides or not is based upon how often they accept rides. And if you're not accepting rides, you're less likely to get rides in the future. So that's a big no-no when it comes to independent you can't essentially, it's like you can do that to an employee. It's like, hey, if you're not going to do this job, we're going to punish you. But if you're an independent contractor, if you're not going to do this job, that's your right as an independent contractor. You're the one that chooses when and where you want to work, and all the ins and outs of it. That's how it works. So that decimated me. Another time that really upset me is that a client didn't understand how to use the chat function. So I would write him. This guy hired me. He would write me, but no, I would write him, and then whenever he would reply, instead of replying in chat, he would make a brand new task and then write his reply as the description. That's another time that decimated my acceptance rating went from like a 98% all the way down to a 30. And I kept telling him, stop hiring me. And it got to the point where it's like, I was going to help you. I was going to do this job. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I told him, and I eventually called him and I got him on the phone. It's like, do you have any idea what you've done to me? You've ruined any opportunity for me to get work in the next month because you decided to fucking, like, I went off on this dude. I was like, don't fucking hire me one more time. Never ignore my face, ignore my profile. Never fucking hire me again. Like, I was so pissed. That's probably one of the few times I've actually, like, openly cursed and, like, told off a customer. Usually, like, no matter how much they piss me off, I just reserve that stuff and then talk to you guys about it. But that dude, like, and it wasn't like he was doing it maliciously like the other girl was. This guy just didn't fucking know. And I kept trying to tell him, but he kept hiring me. And, like, oh my god, dude, I was so fucking pissed. And it fucked me up. What kind of like is that? Hope his TV's shattered. I hope so too because it has those glass tops on them. What kind of light? Oh, it's just a light. I don't know how to describe it. I picked up the lamp from Walmart, and then I just picked up. It's like I think the brand is Edison or whatever. It's just retro looking. I like it because the amber glow. I like it from the temperature the light gives. It's very, it's like a subtle warm. It's just nice to have. I like the temperature it gives off. The downside is with this particular lamp, it's kind of harsh because the light is always right there. So I, it's hard to be looking at it for an extended period of time because it's right fucking there in front of you. It doesn't have a shade or anything. Yeah, man, it's like, uh, the book hasn't been doing too good, unfortunately. People are still reading it on Kindle Unlimited. People are still downloading it. I get, like, if someone buys it on Kindle every few days. People are, every now and then I'll get someone that buys a paperback. But, so, for, like, the first month or so, the book was released, I had Amazon ads running on it. Let's see. Well, there's sales. So overall, it's like 150 sales on the book, but I would say 120 of those no one paid anything for. Those are free, because I had free days for Kindle. So most of the people that bought the book, at least the Kindle version of it, they downloaded it for free. Most people have read. Most people that have my book read it for free, and the goal of that is you want people to read your book so that they'll review it. But the downside is I only have 3 reviews. One review from someone that actually bought the book. And it's 5 stars. Everyone that has come across the book has said great things about it. But it just kind of sucks because here's the breakdown of it. Because all these things like in 2019, going into 2020, it's all algorithm based, right? So the way it works on Amazon, this is from my understanding and my testing and everything. So my book is currently right now rated at like 400,000, right? The highest it ever was 36 in its genre, which that's fucking high, man. Like if you get in the top 100, you're going to be doing great. But the way it works is this. They categorize your book based upon how many sales, but sales don't matter as much as reviews. If you get people reviewing your book, that pushes it up even higher. What pushes it up to the top is if you have ads placed on that book, because it's how often people see it, how often people click on it. So I had ads placed on the book, but unfortunately, Christmas time of year, money got really tight. So I had to turn off the debit card associated with that. That's tied into that Amazon account. So because of that, I still owe Amazon like $130 fucking dollars. And because of that, until I have enough extra money to pay back Amazon for the ads that I ran, which the crazy thing is none of those ads that I ran resulted in anyone buying the book. It helped me with the ranking, but because no one reviewed the book, no one bought it. So that's all the data that's like you're missing reviews. All you're missing is reviews. If you get reviews, that encourages people to buy the book. That increases it in search because people are more likely to click on a book that's in search than is a sponsored advertisement. Advertisement helps you get eyes, but most people, at least in that genre, most people buy books based upon their reviews and their listing, not so much based upon whether it's sponsored or not. But the sponsored thing helps because it gets eyes on it. It gets eyes on it and it gets associated. That's the benefit of having ads. So if so many people like, oh, I like this book in this genre, right? I bought this book Wool. But if I click on Shelter, that's in the same genre, that then ties in, oh, this customer also likes this book. So that helps it in the algorithm for people in the future, so because it associates it. What? Dude. TikTok is not. I mean, I guess I can try LinkedIn. I don't. LinkedIn is like for career stuff. It's not. I don't know about books, but I guess I can give it a try. I don't know how I would advertise my book on LinkedIn. I don't understand. Um, Adam, what's up, dog? Anyway, so that's kind of where the whole thing's at right now. Is the book is kind of just sitting there until I can pay Amazon the $130 I own. And once I do that, then it should bounce back up. But ultimately, it doesn't matter unless I have reviews. None of this shit fucking matters unless people that bought the book actually fucking review it. You know, bought the paperback or the download the Kindle version. I need reviews. That's the number one thing, and that's hurting me. I've had people DM me, people that have read the book, like friends, family, people from YouTube and Twitch. People have written me and told me how much they loved it, or they're like, "Oh fuck, dude, I'm excited for part 2. You left it on such a cliffhanger. Like, I'm pissed off because I wanted to read more." Like these are all really good positive reactions. But no one will leave a review. They come to me. It's like, well, I'm telling you because you're the author, and because I know you, I can just tell you. It's like, that doesn't help me, though. If you want to help me and support me as the author of the book, write a fucking review on it. It's like, I don't want to be that rude person that says that, but it's like, dude, if it would help me a million times more if you downloaded the book for free, read the fucking book, and then left a review. That would fucking help me more than just buying the fucking book. I need fucking reviews. I'm sorry. I try really hard not to get in that mode, but it's like, dude, it got to the point where it's like, I appreciate the kind words. Don't fucking tell me that you like the book anymore because it doesn't fucking help me. Tell everyone else. Leave a review of your experience. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you hated it. Tell me if there were errors that were so bad that you couldn't continue reading it. I don't give a fuck. If you write a review, that will help me a million times more than tell, hey, Mace, I read your book. Very nice. Like, I try not to let this shit out because then, yeah, I look like an asshole. But it's like, it's maddening. Ugh. Gary V usually, I have no idea what Gary V is. Don't be a man, bitch. Ask them or tell them. That's the thing is so the people that have reached out to me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger, the DMs from friends, family members, subs, and followers from Twitch, these people, I think it's like about 10 of them, and I've told every single one of them, I appreciate the feedback. Can you please leave a review on Amazon? And I include a link. And universally, it's either they won't respond at all, or they'll say, oh, I don't need to leave a review on Amazon. I just told you what I thought about it. And then I have to explain to them that doesn't help me. It makes me feel good as an author, don't get me wrong, but I want more people to see the book. I want more people to read the book. This is the biggest thing that I learned in 2019. And, to an extent I knew this before, but definitely evident in 2019, is the most valuable thing in the world are eyes. Okay? And there's getting eyes on something costs money, it costs time, it costs energy. And I don't know, it's like I put all this work into Shelter and I didn't get my hopes up on it. It's actually done better than I thought it would. But it's, I feel like it's a failure, to be perfectly honest with you. It doesn't matter if people say it's good, bad, or indifferent. What matters is how me as the author feels about it. The fact that it doesn't have any eyes on it, that no one even, like, in the span of what the internet is, no one fucking knows what it is. There's a small bubble of people in my world that actually do. And yeah, the creative in me is glad that the few people in my world that have been exposed to it enjoy it. The downside is if I want to pursue my dream of doing that full time, being a full-time author where I can actually, my day job is to sit down and create these crazy stories and worlds and all this shit and get all the creative stuff in my head out. if I want to be able to pursue that, then something needs to work, something needs to stick. And it doesn't matter how many good things someone tells me about it, unless that book is seen by other people, unless the most valuable thing in the world, eyes, are put upon it, it's nothing's gonna happen from it. That's just the truth of the matter. Listen, Dan Pena. Thank you for reinforcing the fact that it's a failure. That definitely makes me feel better. Gary V. Here's the thing. I don't want the book, like, we all want to make money from doing what we love. So obviously that is a component, but the number one reason why I want people to read my book is because I want to be able to talk to them about it. There's one person that actually, we did a correspondence back and forth about different things about the book, like me as the author, the motherfucker that wrote the damn thing, talking with someone as a reader. What I see in my head and the things that I planned and plotted out and the things that I know going forward in the future for the continuation of it, knowing what someone else's takeaway from it was, knowing like, this is what I thought of the character as I was writing. Did you get that as a reader? I thrive on that feedback. I love it because it helps me get into the reader's head. It's like, okay, so me as the author, I might have thought this, that, the other, but did I, with my writing style, was I able to convey that? You know, did I bring that out in the characters, in my writing style? Did you get did you pick up what I was putting down? And there were some like aha moments. Like there were some things that this person noticed but never picked up on. But then when we talked back and forth, I was like, well, remember this part in the book and this thing, and it comes into effect later. And they're like, holy shit, you're fucking right. I can't believe like I didn't think that was as important as I thought it was. I kind of just glossed by it, but it did make sense later on. And it's like, yeah, when you really think about it, like I try to write and make the. I'm getting lost on a tangent. I'm sorry. I just fuck me, dude. Yeah, it's like that's what I want to be doing. I want to, I would love to just write for a living. That's what I've always wanted to do. But it's a hard thing to get into initially, which is why obviously I'm still doing TaskRabbit and shit. So I don't know. I've actually, so with everything said and done, with sales and all that, I've made less on the book now that it's out because of advertising. I've spent more in advertising than I've made back in the book, and you can see the metrics too, which is really cool. Their data is very useful for the Amazon ads. Yeah, I haven't sold a fucking single copy of the book because of ads. I've had a lot of people look at it, but no one's fucking clicked on it and bought it, which fucking sucks. So, which is pointless. So all this money I spent on ads went fucking nowhere. Anyway. I swear that I've talked about this before. It's as if you think that I only put it on Amazon and walked away. I've put it everywhere. It has its own Facebook page. It's on Instagram. It's on here. It's on there. It's trust me when I say this. When you tell me to put it up somewhere, I guarantee you it's already there. Just except for LinkedIn. That LinkedIn makes little to no sense to me. Like that's usually for, it doesn't. That just. I don't even know how else to describe it. That doesn't make little to no sense for me. Well, of course. Well, that's the bonus. The second part's already done. I just need to release it. But I'm not going to release it until like March or April. Because I want part one to be the introduction to me as an author. I want to give it some time. I don't want to rush things. I don't want to, here's part one, and then like a month or two later, oh, here's part two. It's like I want it to have some breathing time, because then I might as well just put it all out together. I divided it because put out part one, introduction to me and who I am as an author. Here's the part one of my story. If you're interested in it, here's part two. Give part two time to breathe, and then I will release the Shelter Complete or later on, probably another 6 months after part two is out. It's my strategy. I'm sorry, I'm just sick of talking about this, so it's kind of put my head in a shitty area. So I need to decompress. I love you guys. Thank you so much for chit-chatting with me. I'll be back on eventually. As always, I'm so beloved. Yeah. Where's there. You wrote it down. I'm your so beloved and glorious Mace Valor.